Welcome to Rich Conversations. This will be another great episode. We are chatting with Zola from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this show. So I'm very excited to talk with you about Mongolia and things you want to know.
Yeah, I'm a very curious person, so I have a list of questions here prepared
Mhm.
to ask you. Well, the first thing, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more?
Oh, yes. So I'm Zolo. I'm a professional tour guide and travel designer, photographer, drone addict, and most importantly, I'm an intrepid traveler. So I've been doing guiding tours in Mongolia for many years, more than 10 years. So it's my passion to meet with new people and explore the things and visit nomadic families and spend time with the people from different culture. It's also cultural exchange for me too. So during this COVID time, the in-person experiences are limited because the borders is closed. So
Yeah.
I'm doing also online experience that I connect with the people on Zoom and share the daily life of Mongolians living in traditional Mongolian house called Ger, or you might know it as a yurt. And I
Okay.
do these kind of online experiences during this time. So
Yeah, I noticed that. I was looking at last night I was just browsing like flights to Ulaanbaatar and it's like blacked out. Like you can't travel there right now, right?
yeah, yeah. But very soon, our country is opening for tourists without quarantine. If you have
Okay.
2 shots of vaccine, then you are free to come and visit Mongolia. It's from 15th of October.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close. We're recording this on the 12th for those that are listening. uh, can you give a brief history of Mongolia for listeners and viewers and like what big historical events are taught in school?
hmm So our country has 800 years of history. Back in 13th century, the man of millennium, a great leader called Genghis Khan, we call him Chinggis, founded this country and named the Great Mongol Empire. He united all the separate tribes in Mongolia and then conquered China, Turks and Persians, and even India. So after his death, the empire continued to grow for 150 years. So his empire was the same size of Africa continent at a
Oh,
time.
jeez. It's
Yes,
huge.
it's huge, right? So that was the prosperity of Mongolia that we are proud, always proud of Genghis Khan. You can find the beer, international hotel, restaurants, and airport, golf club named after Genghis
Yeah.
here in Mongolia. And then there was a fall of this Mongol empire, and we were conquered by China for 200 years. And then we were also under the communist control for about 60 years until 1990. And so 2021 is the 100 years of anniversary of independence of our country, and it's been also 30 years that we are in democracy, that we elect our people leaders, and free market that has changed so many things, especially the way of our life, the nomadic life, forced many people to move to the city and pursue the city life. So we have only 3 million people in Mongolia, but half of us live in the city where I live in Ulaanbaatar.
Okay.
So the rest live as a nomadic herder or live in the town. And a quarter of Mongolians live as a nomadic herder in a yurt and move 4 to 6 times in a year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. Like one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is like Mongolian culture to me seems so unique compared to like the rest of the world. And like historically, there's so much that has happened.
Mhm.
Um, and like the architecture in the capital is really interesting. It's like there's these temples that are very unique and
Uh-huh.
ornate, and then there's like the buildings that were
Mhm.
obviously constructed during communist rule, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's like so wild. And I was telling Zola before we recorded that I read this book called The Dinosaur Artist.
Mhm.
Um, for those listening, you already know that I'm a big fan of dinosaurs and paleontology. And in the world,
Mhm.
there's only certain places that you can find like dinosaur. Well, you can find dinosaur fossils everywhere, but like the
Mhm.
big expeditions happen in terrain that is dry and exposed. So a lot of desert climates. Um,
Right.
and Mongolia has the Gobi Desert there. And I read this book called The Dinosaur Artist. A lot of the book takes
Mhm.
place in Mongolia. There's this like T-Rex cousin named
Uh-huh.
Tarbosaurus Batar.
Uh-huh.
And so
Hibatar.
yeah. So it was cool to learn more about Mongolia in that book. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you more about it. Can you describe the geography and the terrain and that like
Uh-huh.
climate of
Uh-huh.
Mongolia?
Right. So our country, we have a varied landscape. So the only thing we are missing is ocean. It's one of the largest landlocked countries. So in the west, we have a snow-capped mountain. In the south, we have one of the largest desert. A part of the desert is located. It's second world largest desert after Sahara. And then we have a green valley river elevated part of the country in central and northern part, right? Because it's so close to Siberia, right?
Yeah.
And eastern part is kind of flat plateau. Mongolian plateau is just there. You can see hundreds of kilometers without any obstacle. That we call it steppe.
Okay.
So makes Mongolia very special. People can explore all type of different places, right? And of course, the Gobi Desert attracts many people because of these dinosaur findings, right? So our one a third of the Mongolian landscape is Gobi Desert. So meaning Gobi means desert in Mongolian, and this desert is not like a Sahara. It has a 33 different ecosystem.
Oh
Mean
wow.
uh, only 3% of this landscape is desert. The rest is rocky plains or treeless mountain hill
Mhm.
and and the plants, gobi plants. So it can you can spend days, weeks traveling in this area without seeing a tree or a car or even a person. So
Yeah.
it's a vast, harsh landscape, the southern region, because there's very little precipitation,
Okay.
250 millimeter rainfall a year. So it's very dry, but it's also very cold in winter, minus 20, 30 Celsius, and summer it's right opposite. So
Oh
yeah, and this desert is where the scientists come and dig for dinosaurs.
yeah.
And I read between 1922 and 2030, the American paleontologist, the Roy Chapman Andrews, found more than 100 different dinosaurs in Mongolia, including the first dinosaur eggs. So
Oh
no,
yeah.
yeah, no one before he found them, no one knew how the dinosaur babies came into the world. So nobody knew it was they laid eggs like birds do, right?
Yeah.
So which a very interesting discovery, and he made this flaming cliff, the area where he found these eggs, popular in the world. And not only the American expeditions came and explored this area, but also from Russia, Poland, and Japan expeditions.
Mhm.
Over many more. Still today, we every summer there are students come from America, Europe to study more. And back in that time, Mongolian people were very conservative. Like they don't touch any these kind of bones. They believed it was from dragon, so they left it
Okay.
as it. So it made it very easy to find these kind of discoveries for adventurers. It was untouched at a time, and today it's difficult to find these skeletons or eggs, yeah, on the ground, but you need the equipment and permission to do it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a process you have to follow, right?
Uh-huh.
Um,
And yeah, we also have two museums in the city displaying different dinosaur skeletons and eggs. So is built by the discovers by the skeletons returned from US. So
oh, really?
yeah, they were smuggled
Interesting. Yeah,
and then returned by the people who donated back to
yeah.
those, yeah, those arts. So you can see many these fresh, well preserved skeleton eggs in museum and even on site if you go to the Gobi Desert, the southern region of Mongolia.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I've seen some of your photos of the
Mhm.
terrain, and it's so beautiful. It's so diverse in
Mhm.
its landscape, and
Uh-huh.
uh, it's cool. What is the city like then?
The city is very interesting, as you said.
Mhm.
We see that it's a kind of mess because our city was built, founded in today's location 300 years ago, with the planning of 600,000 people only. Now the population is doubled already,
Okay.
and we have a mixture of different apartment, flat, and traditional houses, gear, brick, wooden houses. Like you can imagine, many people live in different accommodation, from traditional to modern. And
Yeah.
we have national hotels, glass buildings, cafes, different restaurants in city, even karaoke, nightclubs, that you can entertain yourself. And you can also see some of the Russian communist buildings in the main street called the Peace Avenue, and theater, um, Parliament House. Yeah,
Wow. So
very.
what are the people like?
People, I would say, we also have a diverse because there are newcomers from different region of Mongolia, and there are very city modern people,
Okay.
and most of us are very young. The whole population is very young, under 40 years old. So
Really
yeah,
interesting.
in the city you will see many young people. Either they are students or uh, workforce, young families
Okay.
in the city. And if you're elder, you would prefer living outside the city.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but because all the universities are located in this city, that means kids from all over Mongolia come and study here, and then they end up living or working in this city. So that's how the number of people grew. And but in summertime, yeah, people leave the city. They change. They stay in the countryside and spend the summer with the relatives or with the nomads outside the city. So when fall comes, the 1st of September is a school day. So we have a big traffic, and I feel like everyone is back.
Wow. So people, so do a lot of people in the city, you said they're young.
Mhm.
Do most of them have families that live in the countryside, or are they coming from other countries to study?
They come from countryside to study.
Okay.
Their parents or relatives can be in the countryside, but they might have relatives in the city. So
Is
they build their own family in the city.
yeah.
And some people, you know,
Yeah. How many other large cities are there in Mongolia?
we have two more cities that mostly has mine, the copper big factory. Эрдэнэт Дархан, we say they are about 300 kilometers away from the city.
Okay.
Still not as big as this capital.
Yeah. It seems like the capital of Mongolia is like where a lot of stuff happens.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
happens.
Huh. So in your opinion, what do people in Mongolia value most?
Mm. So, yeah, based on my experience, I met my tourists say your people are very free, like nomadic people. For example, they change the settlement from one to another, uh, following in search of new pasture and season changes, right? And that means there was American tourists saying that, oh, we share freedom. You guys like to be free in the countryside and ride your horse and to be independent. And I agree with that because our people, as a nomadic tribes, we like to be free, democratic
Mhm.
in our belief and in our way of life. So, yeah.
So
And then,
I
Mhm.
imagine besides that, there's got to me in my head, it seems like Mongolian people are like tough and rugged,
Mhm.
in addition to like independent. Is that accurate
Yeah,
or no?
yeah, independent. That's right. So, because independent life requires you to be tough, right? To to be strong, accept the nature that we agree. It's the biggest force is the nature that we have to adapt. Other than that, we always fight for our freedom, and then the relaxed this lifestyle, nomadic lifestyle, and mhm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Also in addition, we value the family
Mhm.
because everyone wants to have a family, get married, and have a kid.
Mhm.
A small tribe and the growing growing nation, we would like to have more kids. So today we give a medal to women who gave a birth to 4 and 6 kids, which means
Wait, you
you
give
have
out medals? Medals for four
yeah
and six kids? Really?
yeah.
Interesting.
So it means that you have a monthly allowance support from government for the number of kids under 18 years old, and then you are acknowledged mother, right? The first or second medal.
Wow. Interesting. Can you describe, I think for listeners and viewers, like nomadic lifestyle is very like hard to picture in people's minds,
Mhm, mhm.
potentially. Can you describe the nomadic lifestyle? Like what is the typical daily life like? What are they doing? How do they survive the cold during the cold months?
Mhm.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so nomadic people is they uh, they live in a portable house made of all the organic materials, wooden framework, felt, uh, and animal skin. So with this house, they move around 4 to 6 times in a year in search of pasture. It means we have 4 seasons, and the rainfall or snow is different depending on your location, right? And searching for this pasture and herding their animal, they have to move around, right?
Mhm.
And they milk the animal every morning, or every morning and evening, and process dairy products and eat the meat and sell the meat or sell the skin, the cashmere or wool, yak wool, right? That's how they earn money. Beside, yeah, that's how they earn money, and they don't have fence. They live in the yurt. Outside there are hundreds of animals, at least maybe 200 animals, with the different yak, goat, camel, or sheep, right? And then yeah, you herd them, and yeah, you live with your parents or brother, sister, one or two yurts together as a small community, and then to move, they use animal or they have a truck, so it makes them
Okay.
easy. 20 to 30 kilometers. In some places, in some families, they need to move more than 100 kilometer. And
Okay.
this lifestyle is very tough because the nature is the force, and we have a harsh climate, especially in wintertime. It reaches minus 30 to 40 Celsius. So then you need to insulate your yurt, the portable house, with the 3 layers of felt, and then you need to make fire to keep up the temperature, and that's how you overcome winter. Lots of snow, right? And in summertime is the best time because no need to make fire, light the stove, but you need to process lots of dairy products to earn money or to consume later of the year, right? So that's how they live, and this is yeah, interesting lifestyle. They don't worry about the job or boss, working time, and the society stress. They don't have anything. The only what they think about is weather. When they greet each other, they ask, how was your summer? How was your winter? How was your autumn, spring? And they talk about the animal they lost or they're looking for, and they talk about the weather. So
Wow.
that's lifestyle, nomadic lifestyle.
So do you think, is this lifestyle unique compared to most countries in especially Asia?
Yes. So Mongolia is one of the last nomadic herders living because, for example, in China, in Inner Mongolia, that was a part of Mongolia where people forced to change this nomadism to farming,
Okay.
which means that they have a fence
Yeah.
where they herd the animal, right? They're no longer nomads, but in Mongolia, you are free to move around, herd your animal, and use the land. And this is the only country.
So do you think that's a large part because of your history?
Yes. So our ancestors fought for this independence and freedom for 800 years, right? And people still love this lifestyle
Yeah. Wow. So you
because of the.
mentioned the independence from, I'm trying to get this right. So after the 90s,
Mhm.
so after the 90s, it was no longer under communist rule. And so it's more of the free market. How did that change the lives of the nomads at all, or did they not really see an impact from it?
Yeah, it changed everything. So the nomadic people during the communist time, they worked for the government. They didn't have any own livestock, but the government. And since the 1990 democracy, they can own number of livestocks, and they can have a wealth. They can make money on selling the dairy products, skin, meat, right? And they can buy apartment in city for staying when they are in the city,
Okay.
and then go back to the countryside they have more access to maybe they have a truck, they bought truck, or they bought a solar powered refrigerator before they could not afford it, or it was not available. So it gives opportunity for them to capitalize.
What
And
solar powered refrigerator?
yes,
Can you explain that?
so nomadic people, they use a solar panel, right? So this panel charges their television and phone mostly because quite small, and then um, you can also buy this refrigerator, solar panel, solar powered, that you can freeze the meat in summertime, right? But in
Yeah.
the past, we had no luxury of eating a fresh frozen meat because of absence of this equipment, right? But now people can eat meat anytime, especially in summer, every day.
How many people live both lifestyles of like living as a nomad and then also living in the city? Does that happen often, or like is that not a thing?
It's not that often, but if you have many livestocks, like above 1,000 or 2,000, you can afford buying this apartment. And the reason they buy apartment is to let their kids stay there and live
Okay.
there. Right? Or when your kids grown up, you send them to the dorm,
Hmm.
uh, university's dorm, right? Instead of that, they can have apartment for their kids.
Interesting. Is
Yeah.
that how too they get their products to market, is by like putting it in the city? Is the city the big port that um transports the products outside of the country, or
Which product?
like the dairy products, the meat products,
Okay.
fur? Is that
hmm
um
Well, they sell it regionally,
okay.
or we need to bring them all the way to the city. So they might live far from the city, so it's better to sell it regionally. There are
Okay.
traders who visit these provinces and buy everything at a flat price,
Okay, that makes sense.
and they transport it to the
Yeah.
city.
Okay,
Because
interesting.
city, everyone loves meat. Our food is has lots of meat, and still in city, it's the case. So it means there are many consumers who, without the
Yeah.
animal, eat this meat, right?
Hmm. What colors and sounds do you see most or hear most as well?
Mhm. So, what color? We see lots of blue, white, and green, because blue is the symbol of blue sky that
Uh,
we admire every day. You can see the clearest blue sky in Mongolia, and white is the symbol of good heart, like
Okay.
milk. We like to use it, and then green is the grass color, right? So it feels refreshing, and then we like to use it.
Can you see the stars really well in Mongolia?
Yeah, even in city you can see them, and in the Gobi, the southern region is the best place for stargazing.
Oh man.
Spend all night. Later is better for view. Stargazing, even the moons look amazing. Yeah.
Huh. So so the colors you see kind of represent the nomadic lifestyle in a way. The big sky, the dairy and the animal
Mm,
products, and then the grass which feeds the
yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very natural colors. And
What does the flag stand for? It's a very unique looking flag.
uh-huh. So our flag has three stripes with the blue, red, and blue color. So the blue, of course, is our blue sky, right?
Hmm.
And red one is the symbol of growth and prosperity, freedom also. So it's more. It was like a communist flag, But the most important symbol of this flag is the yellow symbol called the Soyamp. It was invented by the first religious leader of Mongolia, saint, back in 17th century. So it's part of this letter, and this Soyamp letter has fire on top, representing three times sun, three times past, present, future, and then we have a sun, moon, that is the earth, like a sky. Then we have the rectangle, which represents the sharpness as a arrow. So then we have two column for protection, for firmness. Then inside we have yin yang, the pair of fish overlooking.
I'm showing it right now for viewers as you're describing it. Continue to describe it.
Yeah, so the yellow thing is called Soyamp, right? So we have arrow, two column for firmness, and then we have yin yang, the pair of fish, for protection and for peace of this country. So two red, yeah, red is freedom and prosperity. So that's our Mongolian flag. Soyamp makes it very special.
Yeah, it definitely does. How do you say that? Soyamp? Soyamp. Yeah, and
So
the yin yang, and yeah.
yeah,
What are the spiritual beliefs in the country? What do people?
spiritually.
Yeah, there's a lot of
We
like
have
spiritual history in the country throughout the ages.
So originally we were shamanic people, believed in the Tingerism, the blue sky, and natural soul and spirit. And then from 16th to 20th century, there was introduction of Tibetan Buddhism to Mongolia. So that time we built hundreds of monasteries, temples, and lots of men became a monk. So we still have those monasteries, some of them ruined, restored under the communist era. And yeah, so this symbol was invented by the first religious leader of Mongolia, who was a great artist and a monk, right? So from that time, we had a 9 religious leader of Mongolia leading us spiritually while we were ruled by China, right? So the first two leaders were from Mongolia. The rest were Tibetan people.
Okay.
Tibetans. So we allied with the Tibet, choosing the leader of each country. So Dalai Lama is a Mongolian name. Mongolian word. Dalai is ocean, endless. So that's what name we gave to the leader of Tibet. And in return, they chose our leader. So that's how we had very good touch with Tibet.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Wow.
From 17th to 20th century, and yeah.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
it means a very strong Tibetan Buddhist country. It's still the case. So, for example, we check lunar calendar for hair cutting because there are days, bad days for this, and we also check these days for wedding and funeral. So everyone marries on same day.
Oh,
And the
really?
funeral, yeah,
Huh.
on any day we have to check it, right? And for funerals we choose odd numbers, not even, and then we have to consult with the monk choosing the day
Okay.
for the event. Yeah.
Okay, so go back to this wedding day. So if you want to get married, say in like 2022, is there like a specific day that you have to get married on?
Yeah, there are already days been declared as good or as best. So you pick those days. And every year we celebrate the Lunar New Year. And the date of this Lunar New Year is also chosen by the monk, right? So yeah, so that's associated with the lunar movement and astrology because this Buddhism is very scientific,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Uh, going back to the capital, what
Mhm.
what topic are people talking a lot about right now?
So right now, uh, just our president initiated a national campaign for planting 1 billion trees until
Oh,
2030. So
okay.
for 9 years, we will be planting trees, right, to reach this number. And this is also a very good solution because our country has only 8% of the landscape is tree forest. The rest
Okay.
is barren, right? So it's also we are suffering from some kind of desertation,
Okay.
sand movement. So tree is very important.
What kind of trees are they going to plant?
Well, they will plant uh, gum trees like large Siberian, large, yeah,
You said
right.
Siberian palm
Mm.
trees?
Huh?
You said Siberian palm trees?
Siberian, large, yeah. Siberian, it's mostly kind of Russian style trees. And then they have to discuss also. And some Christmas trees.
Yeah. So is this is like what do you say? Conifer trees? A lot of like pine trees?
Yeah,
Okay.
with the nut.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So that's kind of a big news, good news actually. And it's also we had last weekend we had the election, re-election for one district, one micro district, and outside the city. So due to the insufficient number of people votes, there's gonna be another election.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah, this week.
How do the nomadic people vote?
Mm. So they travel, they go to the nearest town. And our country has a very good administration system, which built during the communist time. So the
Okay.
Russians had vision to make our country agricultural state. So that means there were small farms and small town village, equipped with the building, people, right? So
Mhm.
that in those places, meaning we have very good network of this administration and you nomadic people usually have a motorbike these days so they
Okay.
will drive or they ride horse or camel to get to the place. Yeah,
Wow.
we have a reindeer herders people,
Okay.
tribes that they ride reindeer.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's out of curiosity, what's the
Mhm.
best tasting meat in Mongolia, in your opinion?
What's the best taste?
Yeah.
You mean which animal meat?
Yeah. Which animal meat do you prefer?
Uh, well, so I like mutton,
Okay.
but I also like horse meat,
Okay.
with horse meat, and many men like to eat marmot meat. It's like a hunting,
Okay.
but uh, yeah,
Huh.
it's rotten that has pure and with very good meat because they pick all the herbs, medical plants, more than 200 plants, and eat it. So their meat is very good.
This is the marmots, the marmots.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're like little prairie kind of animals, right? Mammals.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So if someone had to spend a week, if someone's spending a
Uh-huh.
week in Mongolia, what would you recommend them doing?
Mm. So our country is vast, as I said. So if you come to Mongolia, I would say at least 2 weeks is good enough.
2 weeks?
Or yeah, if you have 1 week, it's quite limited. But what you can do is that you can spend a day in the city exploring and visiting these different museums, history, culture, history, natural history, or
Mhm.
Buddhist temple and this dinosaur museum. And then they can set off for adventure in central part of Mongolia that requires less driving
Okay.
compared to north and south. So they can drive several hours to get to the national parks where they can see the wild horses called Przewalski horses, or they can spend 1 or 2 days with the nomadic family,
Okay.
learning the culture, daily life, engaging in different activities, right? Milking the animal, riding, herding, processing these dairy products. And then,
How accepting are the nomadic people of like tourists coming in?
yeah, they would love to have someone from a different country, right? And they are happy to share the daily life. It's very common for them to have a visitor, not only foreigner, but also Mongolian.
Okay.
So they, and then you can do lots of outdoor activities as much as you want because you can ride horse, ride a camel, two-humped camel, and you can go for hiking or even trekking, spending, and camping is also exciting. And when you leave the city, there is no hotel, but traditional house, yurt is for you to stay.
Okay.
So also another experience, very exciting experience to sleep in. And then yeah, so visiting also restored or ruined this kind of a monastery is another activity because it represents lots of cultural mindset of Mongolian people and art because we have those Buddhist tankas,
Hmm.
natural paintings, or beautiful stupas, sculpted by the monks in at least 300 years ago. So
Wow.
lots of antique and history is there. And yeah, you can learn about the history of Mongolia because we have the ancient capital of Great Mongol Empire is still in still has some museum and sites to explore. And we have a big Genghis Khan Genghis Khan statue,
Okay.
2 meters stainless steel statue for you to visit. You can get on the horse neck and take a selfie with this big Genghis Khan's head.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna look this up right now.
just outside of the city, which is very interesting. And his statue is facing to the his birthplace.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's oh yeah. It's
Genghis Khan,
huge.
right? It's huge.
This is like huge.
Yeah, and there's a small elevator will take you up to the horse neck,
Okay.
horse, right? And then you get to the small area where you can take photo
Wow.
with the Genghis Khan and with his whip.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh so how do you so we're getting a sense of the Mongolian culture. What about you? Like how do you enjoy spending your time?
So I like to spend time outside. Outdoor is very exciting. Like I like running, hiking. Uh, hiking to the mountain because our city is surrounded by a mountain, and the biggest one is quite close to my house. So I go there and spend time. It's exciting to see the city right from the mountain, not far, right? And yeah, that's how like to spend time. If I'm on tour, of course, there are many places to go and enjoy. I like to explore new places too.
So do you take tours? You take people with you and you kind of like show them around the landscape and everything?
Yeah, I do. So we travel to the different places, and we also have a special events, festivals take place. For
Okay.
example, Eagle hunting festival in September and October in western part of Mongolia. Or we have a Mongolian sport festival called Nadam, July, that you can enjoy seeing locals wrestling, horse racing, and archery.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah. We have many different types of festivals and even ice festival when it's winter.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I like to do, enjoy going on trips.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. It sounds like there's a lot of opportunity to do with that. Um, so do you listen to music a lot?
Yes, different types of music.
What are like three musical artists that you're playing a lot right now?
So it changed a lot. I like to listen to the Mongolian country songs because it's very calm and storytelling about
Okay.
the neighbor, father, family, or love, very classical music I play. And I like to listen also foreign songs. I like Coldplay.
Coldplay?
Yeah,
Nice.
Coldplay. And yeah, or I like the Mongolian band, rock band called Dehu. So
How do
they
you,
are becoming popular.
how do you spell that?
It's De, just the De, then Hu, who.
What's I'm sorry, what's the first part?
It's a De,
Is that like,
He, De.
okay.
Then another word is who,
Okay.
Hu. Yeah. So this is a Mongolian musical band, playing with the traditional Mongolian instrument, together with the modern song,
Wow.
modern techniques. So
Cool.
it's very popular in US, Europe, Asia. They're on YouTube.
Okay. I'll have to check them out. Uh, are there like three people or things that have influenced your outlook on life? Whether it be
Mm,
like people, books, films, other art mediums?
uh-huh. So I think first of all, it's people, tourists
Mhm.
from different countries who is exploring my country with me. So I learned lots of independence or different view and travel stories from the people. Yeah, I found how life is rich and how countries are different and how unique our country and people, right? So
Yeah.
that's something opportunity to see us through the in the eyes of other people, right?
Yeah.
So it's people, tourists, and then photography. I love to take photos. So, it's portraits and landscape photos. I love to see on Instagram. So there are photographers, right, who came to Mongolia and take great portrait of people. And then there is a photo became popular called Eagle Hunters, which turned into a movie in yeah in 8 years ago. So this photographer, the I forgot the name, but Irish from Israel,
Okay.
took amazing portrait of this eagle hunter's girl, which was very inspiring to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't watch movies much.
But that one you did, right? You like that one?
Yeah, the Eagle Hunters, yes, the documentary movie was amazing.
Have you traveled anywhere outside of Mongolia?
Yes, I've been to Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and what else? Korea. Then I
Okay.
visited some of European countries, Netherlands, Switzerland, Italy,
What was your
and,
favorite travel experience of all those places?
and London. So I think the London was amazing to me because it was a hub of international people,
Yeah.
great people. Every metro, the underground has designed with a different color and style, which was amazing. And the museums were free of charge, so you can learn a lot with a great insight, right?
Yeah. You
And
like museums?
yes, I like it. I like
What's the your favorite museum
favorite museum in London.
in the
Uh,
world?
well, in the world, I didn't see many museum. When I was
The
in
ones
London,
with the ones that you've gone to. Let's keep that. Yeah.
uh-huh. So the National Museum was amazing. Yeah.
In London?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I want to go to London and go to those museums too. It'd be
Uh-huh.
so cool.
And then Science Museum was amazing, but I was very bad at physics, these scientific subjects. So I was amazed how kids learn things, the
Yeah.
airplane and everything, right? And the car, the invention of car, these machines were displayed there. So kids were discussing about it, but I had very bad knowledge about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shame.
Uh yeah, I feel the same way when I go to I appreciate them,
Uh-huh.
but I like sometimes it's a little over my head, you know?
Yeah.
uh so this last question I have for you. What's
Mhm.
something you're curious about recently?
Mm. Oh, yeah. So I'm curious about opportunities to spot snow leopards. So I'm in love of new adventures, right?
Mhm.
Friend of mine who has been to Mongolia many times from US, she wants to come again, but to spot snow leopards. So it's one a third of population live in Mongolia in the mountain areas. So they are elusive, but you can track them, right? So I'm curious how to find them, who to work with on this trip.
Dang. So how do you track them?
Sorry.
How do you track the snow leopards?
They have there are some national parks that put the camera already, or
Okay.
some um, snow leopards have a chip, so you
Okay.
have that have idea where they are, and then there will be rangers who have better data or info
Okay.
to help us.
Interesting. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for taking the time to spend with me.
Thank you for
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks for taking the time to spend with me. It's been really fun.
me too. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah, where what's your Instagram handle for listeners and viewers?
It's Zol ZOL underscore adventures.
Now, did you take all these photos on here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
this is
are
really good.
photos. Yeah, and I want to take more, of course, and post more of these photos. So yeah, I'm developing my skill. And
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it.